Welcome to another spring-inspired knitting tutorial, this time for a twisted headband. Once again, I'm using Yarnart Jeans Plus yarn that is made of cotton and acrylic. To make a warmer version of this, choose something that contains wool or merino wool instead of cotton. And this will be a step-by-step tutorial that is suitable even for beginners. So here is my main yarn, and I will need a small piece of yarn in a contrasting color. Then I'm using 4mm double pointed needles, and you will need 4 of these. Typically they sell them in a pack of 4. And for the ending, also a 4mm crochet hook. And then I'm using a tapestry needle and a pair of scissors. So first we're going to start with the contrasting color of yarn. And you really need only a small piece because you will be making one row in this color. And you start by making a loop, going under with the yarn and pulling through. And you know you've done it correctly if it is simple to pull that loop out again. So once again, over, under, and through. And into this loop, add one of your needles. And I'm going to be using the long tail cast on method and casting on 22 stitches. So towards the back we have the yarn connected to the ball of yarn, in the front is the long tail, and I will catch the ends with my ring finger and pinky finger, and then put the 2 ends around my index and thumb. And I go under the yarn on the thumb, around the one on the index finger, and back through the loop on the thumb. So once again, pull open, under on the thumb, around on the index finger, and inside the loop and let go. And this way you're going to cast on 22 stitches if you want the same width as I have, or of course you can make it wider or narrower based on your preferences. Okay, so here we finished our row. Make sure you have 22 stitches or the number you have chosen, but remember you need to have an even number of stitches if you decide to change the total number. And here you can cut the yarn, and we will remove it at the very end. Now take the main yarn that you're going to be making the headband in, insert your second needle into the first loop and pull it through. And you can tighten that first loop because you have all the ends loose here, so it's easily becoming looser, but as you will knit along this will disappear. So here is your pink working yarn, and insert from the side into the back and go around clockwise and pull through and let go of the original loop. So once again, insert, pull through and let go. So this whole headband is just made of knit stitches, so this is the only stitch you will be using in the whole project. So insert from side, go clockwise, pull through, and pull the original loop off the left needle. So you will continue in this pattern all the way to the end of the row. And especially at the end, it can be hard to keep the last loops on the left needle, so you can always hold them with your thumb. Before you get a little bit further in the work, it will become easier with more rows. So here we connected the light pink yarn to the dark one, and for the next row you just switch your work around and continue exactly the same. So insert needle, go clockwise with the working yarn and pull off. And this is all you're going to be doing for the whole project. And maybe if this is your very first knit project, you might want to use some chunkier yarn and some bigger needles so that it builds up faster. With these smaller needles and thinner yarn, it will take a little bit of time to make, and you will need a bit more patience. And you will see the final width of the headband after about 2 rows that you've finished. Typically the ones you cast on are a little bit narrower than what it will turn out to be. And here I'm knitting the 3rd row. And you can already see the final width of the headband at this point. Okay, and so now you will continue in this pattern until the headband is long enough to go around the head of the intended wearer. You can either directly measure it around your head or use a measuring tape and make a smaller one if you're making it for children. It's very easy to measure. So this is the length I made and measured for my head, and as you can see it is quite stretchy, so even if you're selling this for example, then you can make a universal adult size and it will fit most. And now I'm going to take all 4 of my needles and transfer half of the stitches I have on the needle to the second needle. So in this case I had 22 stitches, so I'm transferring 11 to the other needle. And now we're going to pick up the stitches that were at the very beginning. So on one side you can see these stitches between the dark pink yarn. So again we're going to take one of the double pointed needles and pick up 11 stitches with one of these needles, so half of them. And then for the second half we're going to take the other needle and again pick up the last stitches that are there. So after this you should have 11 stitches on each of your 4 double pointed knitting needles. And once you've picked up all the stitches at the beginning, you can start pulling out the contrasting yarn, so in my case the dark pink one, and you can just pull it out from the front and then pull on the loop from the back and gradually remove it from your project. Okay, so here I've removed the dark pink yarn, and now what I'm going to do is take my headband and create these V's at the ends with the 2 needles on each side, and then slide the V's in like this and align the 4 needles, and you should have the working yarn at the end on the top needle. So here's my working yarn and 11 stitches on each needle aligned. And now you're going to take your crochet hook and pick up 1 stitch from each needle. So here I'm picking up the first stitch and I'm going from the right side, then from the left side I'm picking up the second stitch from the second needle, then once again from the right side, and last one from the left side. So I've transferred 4 stitches to my crochet hook, and I'm going to take the working yarn and pull the yarn through all 4 of those stitches. And then I'm going to continue exactly the same way till I transfer all of the stitches. So again, first one from the right, second from the left, and then again right and left. So 1 stitch from each needle, and then pull the working yarn through all 4 of the stitches on the hook. And you're going to continue doing this until you transfer all of the stitches from the needles to the hook and crochet them. This is what it should look like when it's finished. And after, you can cut the yarn, and I'm going to make a knot with the beginning of the yarn to secure it. And then using my tapestry needle, I will weave in the ends of the yarn. And now just turn your headband around, and that's it, you're finished. So I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Let me know how your headband turned out, or if you have any questions, leave them in the comments below. And if you liked the tutorial, please give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel for more spring videos. See you next time!